Why would God need a blood sacrifice from his son Jesus to forgive sins when he is the creator of everything? Why couldn't there be another way? And I'm not gonna lie, this question, the first couple times I heard it after starting in ministry, but the more I think about it, the more I get critical with it. It's a very reasonable question. It's a great question. I don't want to keep saying the word question, but if God created everything, if God makes the rules, why couldn't he just forgive people? Let's think about something real quick. When wrongdoing happens, forgiveness always costs someone. Someone damages your car and you choose not to make them pay. You absorb the cost. If someone lies to you and you forgive them, you carry the pain. Forgiveness is never free. Someone always bears the cost. Now let's take that idea. Sin. Sin isn't merely breaking a rule. Let's make that clear. It's not merely just breaking a rule. It is a rebellion against a holy God. A perfect, a perfectly loving, but also perfectly just God. Justice means evil matters. Imagine a judge. Just imagine a judge for a minute. That every time a criminal comes, he lets him go. It's like, hey, you know what? Don't worry, I forgive you. It don't matter what pain you've caused. It don't matter what you did. No consequences. We would never call that judge a loving judge. We would call him a judge who is not fit to be one because he is being unjust. So the question becomes, how can God forgive sinners and remain perfectly just, since he is? Scripture teaches us that he is. The answer Scripture gives is the cross of Christ that Christ died on. Romans 3 teaches us about how God displayed his righteousness through Christ so he could be both the one who is just and justifies. Sorry, I came off frame there for a second. In other words, if that last statement doesn't make it clear, God does not ignore sin, he deals with it. And here's the amazing thing. Christianity is different from every other major religion that says they have to earn their way back to God. The Bible teaches that God provided the sacrifice. So Christ became the sacrifice. God provided it. God did not demand that someone else pay for it. God entered his creation and paid the cost himself. No other God has that story. No other false God has that story. Jesus wasn't a third party forced into suffering. He was the Son who willingly came. John 10 says this, no one takes my life from me, but I lay it down myself. So, granted, could God have chosen another way? I don't know. All I know is what Scripture teaches, and Scripture never presents another way. But it's not because God lacks power. It's because this is how God chooses to display both his justice and his mercy, and most importantly, love. If something is a complete rebellion against God, well, you can't just forgive something without having a price to pay for it, like we mentioned earlier. So that there's never nothing that's completely free. So God chose the cross through Christ. But at the cross, sin was taken seriously. At the cross, sin was taken seriously, and sinners were offered grace. You and I are offered grace. Scripture tells us that by grace through faith we can be saved. But the cross isn't merely just needing bloodshed. Is bloodshed a symbol for the price that needs to be paid? Absolutely. But the cross is God showing what his love and justice actually cost. And that points us to the incredible thing that our Creator did not stay distant because we rebel against him. He came near and made a way for us to be reconciled unto him through the cross and sacrifice of Christ.